I went to sports editor Joe Sullivan back in the fall and said, how about this? We have 21 Division I schools in New England, men's Division I schools, and how about if I were to pay a visit to all of them at least once and do a diary story and then see what I come up with? You don't know. Good, bad, and different. Could be anything that shakes out that afternoon or evening. And I began on November 11th when UConn opened up defense of its national title against Columbia and went right through the Harvard-Penn weekend, Harvard-Princeton-Penn weekend of a couple weekends ago, and did in fact get to all 21 schools, and some of them more than once for what you'll turn out to be you'll see will be quite obvious reasons. All kinds of fun, all kinds of interesting things. A lot of this has to do with Harvard, no question, and it should, because Harvard has the greatest season in its history and goes to the tournament. So I hope you'll enjoy it. I think you will, and if you're a college basketball buff, I'm going to go so far as to say I guarantee that you'll like it. The longest trip was well, one day I thought I was going to go across, you never know, of course. I thought I was going to go from east to west across the mountains there from Maine to Burlington. I was going to go from Orono to Burlington on the horizontal route, but of course Mother Nature had a different idea that day. It wasn't a terrible day, as you know. We did not have a bad winter, but it was a day when there was some weather, and it forced me to abandon that. And so, in case you want to know, if you take the southern route down through Hampton, New Hampshire, it is 450 miles from Orono to Burlington. College basketball is one of the two sports that's embedded in my DNA, the other being Major League Baseball. I grew up in New Jersey, and my father, when I was very young, was assistant athletic director at Villanova, and I was going to basketball games in Philadelphia on weekends at the Palestra and at Convention Hall when I was 6, 7, 8 years old, and I just fell in love with college basketball, and I followed it very closely. I went to Boston College when Bob Cousy was there, and fell in with some friends who were like-minded, and we went to a lot of games. My last 2 years at BC, I only missed 4 games total. And I mean, that meant a lot of schlepping around in the East, but I did it. I just love college basketball. I love the fact that, that great players in college don't have to be translated into the pros. You can have a great 6'5" inside guy. You can have a 5'7" point guard who can really play. You can have odd lot players, but they're very effective in college. I seek out those players. I love those players most of all, as opposed to just the obvious worship of a talent. When I saw Julius Erving, I said, he might make it in the pros someday. Okay, that's easy, but I mean, there's a lot of other guys that never made it, but they were still among my favorite players.